Ahoy! This is Book Club episode 3, where we review comic books that you guys vote on every single month. And for June, we pick Thor God of Thunder. This is the first 2 arcs of Jason Aaron's Thor run, which is basically just one arc going over Gore the God Butcher. This is Thor God Bomb and Thor the God Butcher. We all read it, and we're all going to review it. That's why we have hammers out.
Yes.
Yep.
Of course.
So I read this book a couple of years back, I guess. Tyler just recently reread it. I know he's read it like before me though. And JD and Harper just read it for the first time. So I kind of want to know your guys' thoughts.
Well, you guys know I'm a historic Thor hater. Hate Thor. Hate every book he's in. Think he fucking sucks.
Nice hammer.
You're not a movie. You're not a fan of the movies.
No,
you think
fuck
Chris Hemsworth is a little
Chris
bitch.
Hemsworth. He's a disgrace.
He doesn't. Yeah, I was gonna say he doesn't represent real Australians.
Whoa.
But yeah, good book.
Wasn't bad.
Yeah, not bad.
Okay, JD.
I literally just finished it right after we finished the podcast. I still had the last issue to go, so I was like, oh, I'll do it in between.
Okay.
And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I knew the concept going in, and I thought the concept was cool, and it delivered.
Paid off well. All right.
Unfortunately, Jason Aaron's Thor never gets better than this.
Well, that's the problem. Like I posted on my story that I was reading it. Like I posted 3 Thors, and everyone was like, "Yeah, that's the peak of Aaron." And I was like, "Oh no."
Okay.
It is, and it's unfortunate.
It should have been called Thor 3 Thors. That would be so good.
Dude.
Oh.
That would make the sales just skyrocket.
Yeah,
Dude.
Thor,
You don't even have to be a Thor fan.
And
You
delay
see
it by
that?
like 3 years. Oh,
So,
man.
when I first read this book, it was holy shit. Okay, so I remember. Do you guys remember Lego Marvel superheroes?
Yes, I remember.
When that
staying
game
up till
came
midnight
out-
to buy that. Fuck.
When that game
Whoa.
came out, I must have. What year was that? Like 2014, something like that.
Yeah.
I was
in
like
high
13
school.
years old. Yeah. So I had it. I got it for Christmas, and I looked up all the characters in the video in the game. I was like, oh my god, I want to see every character that's in this game. I watched a video of a guy going over character and character, and he got to Thor, and he said, by the way, guys, if you're not reading the current Thor run by Jason Aaron, it's amazing. And I was like 14, and I was like, that sounds awesome.
He
So
said
I
it's
literally-
amazing.
Yeah, it was in a fucking Lego video. And so I went out and I got the first trade when I was
That's
like
hilarious.
13 years old. Yeah. And then the first trade ends with a cliffhanger. But I remember thinking like, this was the coolest fucking thing I've ever read in my entire life. Because it is.
It is a
It's
cool
just-
concept.
It's
Yeah.
just so fucking cool. And I don't think I finished it because again, this ends on the cliffhanger for like another 2 or 3 years. Because
Wow.
I was just like, well, I convinced my dad to buy me the first one. I don't think he'll get me the second one. But like it was really
Damn.
it's so stupidly good. It's so fucking stupid.
It's
but
like
it's so
the
good.
definition of a comic book story.
Yes.
Time travel,
It is,
explosions, lightning.
in my opinion.
Well,
it
and,
is
and it's interesting how we went from
the New Frontier.
Darwin Cook, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
New
Deep Superman
Frontier to
story.
Secret Identity, like these deep, like philosophy
Yeah.
stories.
To
and then
Thor
we go
That's
back-
exactly
naked
it.
man.
This is a fucking comic book at its like peak.
Peak,
Like
yeah.
it is an epic comic, and I don't
But-
have the words to describe how fucking cool it is.
I think buried beneath that epic comic, there actually is some philosophy in here about like religion.
Yeah.
Because as I was reading it, I was
Gore.
really thinking about some of it, and I was like, wow, that's actually a
Yeah,
very interesting concept.
Like modern day Thor walking into that big hall and all just the dead, like giant.
Oh yeah, they were on the
Yeah.
hook.
I
Like
'cause
hung up on hook. Yeah.
I thought about this while I was rereading it because obviously Gore is the star here. So rarely do you get
Yeah,
a new
that's the one.
character that is like a new villain introduced that immediately sticks the landing.
Yeah.
Like for every Gore, there's like 15 Rogol Zars, or like 15
Wow,
Batman who
that
laughs.
is a great analogy.
that
Even
is
though I
like-
like
yeah.
Rogol Zor,
Yeah.
that's a great analogy.
This is
That's an
immediately.
excellent
This is what I
analogy.
thought of immediately after I wrote or after I read this again. Like I've been thinking of that for 2 weeks.
That could be like an article. That could be like an article headline. That's amazing.
But it's literally true because Gore was introduced in this story. He's around for 11 issues. he dies. Spoiler alert, I guess. He never fucking comes back. And he left an impact.
He fucking dies. I didn't finish it.
He left an impact on Thor that, like, he's one of the premier Thor villains now.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, Loki and Gore. And he's in this one story.
Yeah.
And it's so rare that you get that, you know? And I think it's just a testament to how good, first of all, Jason Aaron is at writing these characters. And second of all, just the art. Because Gore would not be so cool if the art wasn't as amazing as it is. And Assad
young Thor looks like a dickhead though.
You literally start with that and you're like, holy shit, like I'm ready to invest
in the volume. That's the first page right there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's like ridiculous. And
I will say that Gore does technically come back. He's in King Thor.
Yeah, he's in King Thor, but like he doesn't come back to life ever.
Yeah, because that was more like just more time travel stuff.
Is he gonna stay dead like permanently? Is that like?
I think
it's a comic book, so there's no telling.
I think
it's like now that Jason Aaron's like fully done with Thor now.
Yeah,
right?
and I guess he is going to be in the movie. I don't know.
So they could bring him back, but this comic is, I want to say, like 9 years old at this point.
It was.
I think it started
2012.
Was it 2012? Okay, it was Marvel Now, right?
Yeah, so roughly 9
Marvel
years.
Now.
He hasn't come back. He's been talked about a lot.
That's the same amount of time that the Mandarin's been dead.
Oh, hey.
But yeah, that's exactly it. Is he's been talked about a lot. Like he left an impact on Thor that was earned, and like again,
I feel like every person has heard of Gore.
When they introduced, like, I'm going to use Rogol Zar again. They introduced him and they said he blew up Krypton. And you're like, are you fucking kidding me? So Rogol Zar is more important than like every other character we've ever seen in Superman's world.
Mm-hmm.
But when they introduce Gore, they take the steps and they earn him being as big of a presence as he is in Thor's life.
It doesn't appear until the second issue.
Yeah, like, every Thor story you read after this, Gore's impact is felt. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys knew this, but the reason why Thor becomes unworthy is because someone whispers in his ear, Gore was right.
Yeah.
And instantly the hammer drops.
Yeah, and
it's just like it's a reminder that,
and so does the penny, like
the metaphorical penny.
Yeah,
yes.
The metaphorical,
good one.
Pretty much, yeah.
Thank you.
It's strange. Like he's this new character that's introduced, and I think it helps that you did flashbacks with the cave scene, which a lot of people won't like.
Which is
I remember
idea.
When Gore was announced that he was going to be the main villain for Thor: Love and Thunder, people, even before it was called Love and Thunder, people were like, "Are we going to get the cave scene? Are we going to see like a young Thor in the cave being tortured, essentially?"
Yeah, and that's like so interesting. I
was in Age of Ultron.
Nobody had ever thought about this with Thor before.
Dude, isn't he hung up in Thor Ragnarok? Isn't that 100% comic accurate to the scene?
And he's like, "G'day guys, it's me."
Jason Aaron stole that from Thor Ragnarok.
It's just the fact that nobody else before Jason Aaron ever went, you know, Thor was like really young a long time ago and will be really old in a long time. Why don't we just like do that?
Yeah.
Like, because
why is everything in the modern era?
Yeah, it doesn't need to be. And the fact that they distinguish it as like Thor, the young Thor, Thor the Avenger, and King Thor, it's just, it's so cool.
He does go back with that.
Awesome.
King Thor has
old Thor is my favorite Thor because he has the best lines. Like, so I read this on Marvel Unlimited. So this was my first time actually having Marvel Unlimited. Gotta say, really liking it after reading 11 issues on it. But
okay, virgin.
What?
I don't know. I just wanted to say that.
Okay. Old Man Thor's lines, like I had to screenshot a few, really made me laugh when he's like, "Hell is pale blossom boy." That shit killed me.
He basically calls modern day
when he's like, "Boris Bones, are you certain there isn't any more ale?" Like he's fucking amazing.
This was also the thing with this book that I dread is that, and I was saying this before we did this, is that reading Thor in you know 80s and 90s and even 2000s books that he would show up in, he is the most slog of a character to read. Like, I cannot stand his old-timey speak. It shits me to tears. And I get that's part of his character. I get that's part of how he talks. But it annoys the shit out of me. And so I went into this book absolutely dreading it. But as Tyler, I know, is going to elaborate.
Yeah, well, it's because it's like
differently.
the thing with Thor, his speak, like when he started, he spoke like it's because I think Stanley wanted to experiment with that. I think he was having a lot of fun with that. And then you go into like the Walt Simonson era, and it's just impossible to read because it's terrible. Like one of Thor's all-time favorite, like not favorite lines, but iconic lines in comics is like Thor or Ultron, Thor shalt have worts with thee. And it's like that is like a clunky line that nobody wants to remember. But when he died in Ragnarok in like the early 2000s, and then J. Michael Straczynski brought him back in like 2007 or so. He came back, and then JMS was like, "I'm not writing him like that," and now he hasn't spoken like that since.
He's just like, "Hey guys, I'm Thor. What's going on?"
No, it genuinely he hasn't spoken
right.
like. Yeah, like when he came back from the dead, he also just came back with like a modern dialect.
What year was that?
That was like 2007, I think.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Because think about it's annoying to read. Think about how annoying it was to write.
Oh fuck me, yeah. Because you know what you want to say, and then you have to translate it into
Shakespearean.
I'm like,
exactly. That's.
Man.
I think it's cool if every time you see young Thor, like even in future comics, if they do the Shakespearean tongue.
Mm-hmm.
But then in modern day, you could just do like regular voice.
Yeah, exactly. Young Thor, by the way, also great idea because in other books, like there's an Uncanny Avengers book where they flash back and he's like met Apocalypse before. Like he's done a lot of stuff on Earth. I think that's just it's cool to set him up as having existed in this world for so long.
So
it makes sense.
Yeah, later on, Jason Aaron he writes like several Thor books, but right when Jane Foster is no longer Thor and like Thor Odinson is the main guy, there's a ton of stories of just young Thor because he was leading up to War of the Realms and he didn't really have any stories for Thor. So in the mainline Thor books, it was just stories of young Thor and young Loki and a younger Odin. And
we're getting young Thor in What If, aren't we?
Probably
What if Thor was young?
I mean,
Are we getting party young
maybe.
Thor?
I guess he like would have Thor.
I love young Thor. Young Thor.
I'm sorry, this isn't related.
Excellent to me because I love Yarnborn, like the axe. I might like it more than Mjolnir.
Oh really?
I love it.
I would have words with the Tyler.
One thing I think the coolest part of this whole thing, besides like the final battle with all of them like jumping down,
it's just so cool.
Yeah, was when we got Thor wielding two Mjolnirs at once.
Okay.
That was like.
If you remember 2 weeks ago when I read this, I think I messaged you and I said like, there's a moment that I just reread and it blew my mind again. It was that. It's the fact that he smashes two hammers together, and then a lot of the times the omniscient narrators are like annoying in comics. You know, they're like but it says every god in the universe prayed to Thor. That's like goosebumps, bro.
Yeah,
like, that is just so good.
Oh, geez,
it feels like cinematic off the pages.
So the actual lines
off the pages
for those listening was all through time gods were dying. Every god who had ever been born or ever would be. There was no final battle for them to fight, no enemies standing over them, no warning even. They merely fell to their knees, choking on blackness, their flesh falling apart before their eyes. Some knew why it was happening, most did not. But in their final cloudy moments, they all shared a common vision. A vision of one god with a mighty hammer in each hand, fighting at the heart of the bomb to save them all. And for one moment that stretched across time, every god in all the universe closed their eyes and prayed to Thor. It's like
I got chills. You reading?
It's so good. Yeah, no,
and
it's
just Thor screaming, hitting like both hammers. It's like
I remember when I first read that, it just blew my mind. Like it's incredible.
This was
I don't know if Armor Wars has that moment.
It's like this is arguably the best Thor comic ever.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely of all the ones I've read. You know me, you Thor connoisseur.
If you want to continue with Thor, I think Jason Aaron's run is still good. It's just this is
the
best.
Yeah.
I do think I'm even one of the people out there that think War of the Realms is a really good event. But
I like War of the Realms. Yeah. You want a fun retcon? Hold on, I gotta find the page. That's Null right there. Like Null.
Oh, that's right.
That's him right there.
Yeah.
Like they didn't establish it until Donny Cates came in, but that is him. And then the Necro sword that he takes is the symbiote that Null uses.
Yeah, it is the first symbiote.
But that is Null. Like that is
so. Is this technically the first
him.
appearance of?
And that's what I was thinking.
But it's still they still treat Venom 3 as his first appearance. Like,
well, it's because it was a retcon. Yeah, but that is technically the first appearance of Null.
But yeah, they still consider Venom 3 the first.
Exactly,
appearance.
but like it's cool when I was rereading this. I was like, oh, that's Null right there. Like
that's cool.
Yeah, and then like at the next page, what's his name is Volstagg is talking about like, do you even know what weapon you're holding? Like, they set up the lore for this weapon that Jason Aaron had no idea would be picked up by Donny Cates. You know, it's just cool because that makes it all the more natural. You know?
Yeah. Cool. Wow.
As long as you have someone to pick up on that thread, and
the fact that Donny Cates did is just like. That's the Marvel universe.
It's like here's this random character in black armor. Let's just
no, exactly. That is now the Marvel
he's
universe.
Writing
That's the beauty
Thor.
of it all. Exactly. Yeah, and
because that was a retcon that happened in Venom.
Flows
it
so
wasn't even in a
beautiful.
Thor book.
Yeah.
So
great stuff.
This scene right here when it was revealed the giant bomb, that like, man. So when I first read that,
good.
Damien will like this. He basically
Daben.
That because I was playing D&D at the time, and I had to DM a story, and I didn't have a story in mind. And as soon as I got to that page, I wrote an entire campaign of just a giant bomb in the sky that's slowly coming down. And the whole point of it that we played for like months was they have to stop this bomb from touching the ground because then it bursts.
I got called the Virgin, and you hear the Harper. I mean, come on.
Yeah, did you hear that, Harper?
What the fuck?
Yeah. But JD, like, look at you though. Anyway, this isn't the podcast, and this isn't Timmy's talk, so I need to focus
back
up
to the
here.
fucking book.
Tyler got into this from a Lego
Lego
game
video
of everything, and you guys got into the book club. For me, I was in Vancouver.
I can't imagine reading this at 14 though. That would have like anything I read at 14 blew my mind because everything was so fresh. But like I couldn't imagine reading this.
Actually
that at
blew my
14
mind.
would have blown.
I remember
actually.
I read Identity Crisis at 14
telling-
and was like, this is the greatest thing ever written.
I might have been 13. It might have been the year 2014 because I remember I got it for like Black Friday.
This is sort of related, but I remember telling JD that in 2016 when I read, spoilers by the way for this, when I read The Return of Barry Allen, I had no idea about the twist with Barry.
Oh, you didn't? Damn, I wish I
had
did.
No idea. And I went and I was like, please, like I was 2 issues into it and I was like, please tell me, please, is it gonna be? And like as it kept going, I was like, oh my god! And then they introduced the book from the future, and I was like, it has to be. And then you get to the second
Dude,
last issue.
Anytime I post about it, I'm like, fuck! I ruined the surprise for someone.
I remember being so excited that I have to admit this. I like torrented the issues and tried to email them to a friend just so they would read them because they couldn't find them anywhere. And I was like, please just read this. I need you to see this.
Yeah,
and then they also were like, oh yeah, I kind of figured it would be a bard.
Okay. I mean, that's what book club's for, is us being like, please read this Thor book.
Yeah.
And, like,
Yeah.
maybe, like, please read the Superman comic.
Arguably the best Thor
I
book
just don't
ever.
think Armor Wars is gonna have that much to talk about.
I'm excited to read it.
I've
Marvel
never read
Limited
it.
has made me a new man.
Yeah, you're gonna be a Marvel fan.
I think this is my favorite moment right here, where it's like, "Are you with me, Thor? To the end, Thor." Like that is just that's beautiful. Like I love that. Oh, you know what's a great moment, and it's so silly, is like the part where King Thor is like, "There's a secret. There's a secret room that only the King of Asgard can go to." Yeah, that your that Odin had. Go visit there and then meet me. And then Thor's like, "What could be so important that in this room that I need to?" And it's just all every alcohol they've ever taken from like anywhere they've ever been.
This page absolutely
incredible.
like just slapped for me, like where they're all ready to go. Like this was the end of
Just
one of
before
the issues.
jumping
and I
off the
was
ship.
like,
And then the next page, they'll just launch themselves off. It's like,
yeah.
I could. There's sometimes when you read comics, JD and I used to talk about this a lot early days in the podcast, where it's like, I know they're just still images, but you can see the movement.
No, totally.
Like
man.
I could see this happening.
It's a very
It's
cinematic.
just like
book.
Dark
They're
Knight's
just
Metal
jumping off.
issue 7, where all the Batman come out of nowhere together.
This book would be, and it's great. It's fantastically written, But this book would be nothing without Assad Rivik. Like genuinely, this book would be like a good Thor story without Assad Rivik. But with him, it's like an all-time great Marvel comic. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. It's when I first got this, I was in Vancouver, and I went to a comic store, and I remember the guy there. It was like one of the biggest stores in Vancouver, and the guy's there's like, "Can I help you find anything?" I'm like, "Actually, I'm not looking for anything, but like I like Batman at the moment, and I like Justice League and stuff like that." And he showed me these comics, and he said when these comics were coming out, people will come to that store and argue what's better currently, Thor by Jason Aaron or Batman by Scott Snyder. Like those were the two rivals.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
Yeah,
those were having the same time.
Yeah. So it's like, man, okay, I love Scott Snyder's Batman, so I'll read it.
They were also arguing what movie was better, The Avengers or The Dark Knight Rises.
It's an obvious choice, brother.
Are we doing Bane voices? Oh yeah, Bane voice episode.
Oh god, it's not the podcast. It's not the podcast.
I quite enjoyed God of Thunder.
But what did you think of God?
He's not going to use the Pringles can. Is he going to use the Pringles can?
What the hammer's for? I feel bad for Gore's wife.
Oh my god, she really got the short end of the stick, didn't she?
Oh my god.
She just wanted to pray and wait, and she was going to have a child.
What's wrong with believing in a little bit of God?
You know what though? That's very consistent.
Even I'm hating this.
That is a great, like, the fact that they went there with Gore. It's just it solidifies
him. They make you feel for him in the issues before. You actually like, I don't know, issue 4 or 5, whichever one's his origin. You're like,
it's like I think it's 7.
I could kind of see his side of this. You know, the villain's starting to make a lot of sense. It was like that movie moment, but then like that happens, and you're like, wow, that went not where I was expecting it.
Yeah, and
do you think Love and Thunder is going to do a good goal?
I was about to ask you that. I was literally about to say that.
Oh god, it hurts me.
Well, it's Christian Bale.
I love Christian Bale.
It's also like
on the one hammer you've got Christian Bale, but on the other hammer,
nice.
You got the cast saying this is the funniest movie in the world. So it's like it's a guy with the name God Butcher.
Gore kills his wife. And there's like a laugh track.
I still think it'll be good.
I think it'll be good too. I'm very interested. Like this is like the Jason Aaron era Thor movie, because the last one was like the Walt Simonson era. Yeah, exactly. This is like his era. So I'm assuming.
I mean, regardless of Ragnarok's humor, I mean, Hela's still pretty dark, right?
Dark, yeah, no, that's exactly it.
So it's not like they lightened her.
If they're like,
she's sarcastic, and which is who she is in the comics, from what I've read at least.
Yeah, but she's never a joke. Like they never make Hela like a haha, like a punchline.
But she did go out way too easily.
What, she got killed by Surtur.
He destroyed Asgard at the same time.
I know, but I feel like
how the fuck is that? What?
She killed Asgard. I felt like her death was kind of like
he cut her essence to dust.
I understand that
a sword bigger than our
Hunter said you can't defeat my Marvel knowledge, and I said I know. But they can, and then you guys come in.
No. You're right. You're right. I more so mean it was kind of lazy having her go out that way.
Why?
I suppose.
Like set it up at the start of the movie.
No, but like, it would have been more satisfying to see Thor.
Hunter there was like, thank God, Tyler agree with me.
No, but I like the idea that Thor was like, this isn't gonna happen.
Yeah, no, sure, it would have been more satisfying.
You instead of outbrute you.
I was hoping for more of a satisfying, like.
I just remembered a line in Ragnarok
instead of being like, all right, I'm out. He'll do it.
It's just remember when he goes like, he strikes her with the lightning, and he just says, "I just shot her with the biggest lightning blast in the history of lightning." Stupid. It's funny, but like I just wonder if Love and Thunder is gonna be, like how are they gonna do Gore? I'm very interested to see.
I'm hoping it's like a big juxtaposition thing. Like they have
if it's like a horror comedy, that'd be hilarious.
But then like he comes in and then it's like, oh fuck.
I know in the comic he dies, but I'm hoping he lives in the movie. And then we get another story way down the line of Hemsworth and him final battle to the death, and maybe Hemsworth could die there.
They're not doing this though. Imagine they can't do
You want to
Like, do you
kill
think young-
Chris Hemsworth, bro? What the fuck?
Like Thor
Do you
Odinson.
think we'll get
They're
young
gonna give
Thor?
him blonde eyebrows again.
Do you think
For
we'll
the
get
shits.
young Thor?
I
no.
I
Young
don't think
Sheldon?
so, but I hope so. I don't
think you
think
might
so,
get,
but I hope so.
I think you could get old Thor though.
You think?
You
You
get
think
the
they
whole
do
thing
old
with
Thor
the gore
before
is
they
like-
do-
Yeah, why the fuck not? That's cooler. No one wants to see young. We already saw young Thor. It's the Thor
Yeah,
that
but
was
no, but
in
then they're
Thor.
jumping into the future of the MCU. Like, it's different from a comic book.
Yeah, and
I don't think
Yeah,
we'll
but
see
people will
that.
be
That
confused.
crazy?
People will be like, "So this is the end of the universe."
we literally saw Scott Lang as a baby and an old man and as a
Yeah,
child.
but we
Like,
didn't
we've seen-
see Scott Lang at the end of the universe. Like,
Yeah, but
know
you
what I mean?
don't. But you no. But you don't have to see him. I'm saying like they could bring old Thor into the modern time.
Yeah, but no, but he's got a story. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, his
can't just
story
bring
can
him
be
in
the
with-
modern time. Just send him. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, but what's he gonna say? Is my
I'm
point.
Thor.
Like, yeah.
Well, wait, I could see the confusion of well, maybe it works better than comic with being confused, thinking that he's Odin at first, but it's really
Mm.
I love
Yeah.
that, by the way. That's like my favorite, like in the comic, like that continuously happens, that they keep thinking he's Odin. Like that's
Yeah.
great.
this is when
Father, is
when
that
I
you?
bastard,
Poor
and I like how
Father.
old Thor
there
just
isn't any ale left.
says like, "Are you stupid?" Like, even though it's him,
Mm-hmm.
he just hates. So
I love how much he hates himself. Like, it's hilarious.
old Thor and young
Yeah, he's
Thor,
like all of us.
they actually come back. These three actually reunite again in War of the Realms, but it's just for one issue.
Is War of the Realms good or no?
I think it's good.
It's- I also
No.
think it's good.
A lot of people say it's all right.
It's
But-
bad. It sucks. It's
I
bad
think
as
it's
There's
really
not a lot
good.
of not a lot of Jason Aaron fans out there. I notice. I noticed that
I
like
think
he.
I like
post his
Jason Aaron.
Avengers, something happened and people just like got tired of him.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I think. It was
And I think
his
that's the problem with
Avengers.
a lot of writers is that like I kind of felt that way about Scott Snyder. Like in the New 52, you couldn't say a
Yeah,
bad
man.
word about Scott Snyder, but now I'm like, you know,
Yeah. I think
saw
they have very
All
similar
Star
career paths as
Batman
well.
was what
a similar
kicked that off.
career.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a fantastic Thor, a fantastic Batman, and then an okay Justice League, okay Avengers.
And then they drop off a bit and then they finally
And then they
finish
do a
their
big
arc.
event. Yeah.
Yeah, with their character, and then we're like, okay, well,
I
we
do
were
think
finished with you like
Snyder's-
10 years ago.
I think Snyder's Justice League is better than Aaron's Thor, though. Or I mean, not Aaron's
Aaron's
Thor, Aaron's Avengers. Aaron's Avengers.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, anything bad you have to say about the book?
Oh, I fucking hate Thor.
I know you do, man. I'm sorry. We'll do Iron Man next month.
Fuck, I don't even want to do that. I hate
This
Thor
trade,
so much. I hate Iron Man now.
This trade
Wow.
comes. This trade
Wow.
comes
You're gonna
with
sell
all
all
the
your
sketches.
slabs like fuck this, fuck Iron Man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, was
Fuck
that in
Iron
Marvel
Man.
Unlimited?
No, Marvel Unlimited is just like the
sketch-
issue, but
Yeah,
all
it's
the
literally just the
letters
issue.
at the end of the issue are there. Like there's like a letters column page.
Oh, we don't
Like,
have that. in the
Jason Aaron answering
So,
people's
like,
questions.
This
was cool.
Marvel Now era Thor outfit, this one right here, like with the sleeves and whatnot.
Hmm.
I think this is the best Thor costume.
Oh, there's
Because
an
I like
Iron
I like the
Man
sleeveless one, but I love like when he Thors up and he's got the sleeves. He has it in Infinity, which is an Avengers story Hickman wrote.
Iron Man variant for some reason.
Thor Buster.
Oh, dude, Tony Stark showed up in this. I immediately
there
thought
you
like
go.
Harper's gonna fucking love this.
Oh yeah, no, I'm on my Iron Man hatred. Fuck Iron Man.
One of my favorite lines is when Thor says, "I hate time travel," because I immediately thought like, "Hey, Wally West hates time travel."
Well, I
I was like, hey,
remember.
I made a Flash thing. You know what's
Hey,
funny about the
bingo
story
shit.
though is like when Flash Year One had Old Man Flash and then Year One Flash, I was like, oh, they're gonna have all three of them team up. It's gonna be like Old Flash, Young Flash, and Modern Flash. Not
Hmm.
knowing that was the concept of God of Thunder, and I was like, oh
Yeah.
my god,
Yeah,
I was
it,
like,
like,
dude,
this is such a
why- why
revolutionary idea.
why
They
is it
kinda
Williams
sh-
doing
they-
this? This is genius. And I'm like, oh,
I feel like they
done.
should have done that. Now that you say that, like
Right?
that opportunity was
Right?
there, but instead they just have like Bart and Max meditate, and then just
Old-
all the random
Flash.
speedsters are like, "We're here." Okay.
well, even then,
There's so
like,
much blood in this comic. Like, it's incredible that this isn't like an RM rated
Yeah.
comic.
a
whatever they would
DC
do.
Black Label comic.
Yeah, it's just T plus, but like this is brutal stuff.
Oh, okay. I know what I like. At the start where they're setting up Gore, and is it? I didn't know like who they are, but the characters like down on the ground praying, and Thor's like, "Who are you praying to?" And they're like, "Any god that will listen, or just every god, or whatever the fuck they said." I thought that was
Yeah.
cool. It's like,
Did you like
nice creepy
Thor?
wave.
Not Thor, sorry. Did you like
Do I
Gore as a horror character? Because that's what he is.
Yes.
He's like excellent. Like Jason Aaron needs to write a horror comic, man.
Actually, this is what I was thinking reading it. Do you think
is
that
all of
he's
them.
gonna look like that in the movie, like as you know, no nose Voldemort with teeth?
Yeah, because
Like, do you
Christian
think that-
Bale is like a chameleon in his roles. So I feel
Yeah,
like
see, but I don't know, like, because you'd have to see.
he's such a method actor. He's actually going to become an alien.
I
to do
think
this.
face-wise, yes, but I think they'll give him clothes.
Well, this is he's got
No,
like
I
the
want
robe and
cheeks.
whatnot. You
I
they'll
think
look
he'll
like-
have like almost armor.
How long before you think we get our first look at him?
I don't know when's the movie
That one
coming
comes out in 2022,
Comic-Con.
Trailer.
Yeah, next
Comic-Con.
May. Comic-Con. Oh
Comic-Con.
yeah, I can see.
So,
it.
like a month.
or the next
Maybe not
Disney
a
thing.
trailer, but
Like how
It'll
they did
probably
the
be in the
Disney thing this-
Spider-Man trailer.
yeah. Everything's gonna be the.
I mean,
Spider-Man.
No, it's gonna be in the Loki show because we love to invest in
Of
characters who are not
course,
actually
that
gonna be in the
makes
show.
This
sense.
book is the high adventure pulp serial Thor has always needed. That is a review on the back.
Tyler, I think you
Okay.
genuinely enjoy reading the reviews on
I
trades
do, I
because
love-
they're
'cause they-
always so shitty written.
Yeah, like this one
Yeah.
just says these guys knocked it out of the park. They have names.
Hey, these guys over here, they knocked it
These
out.
This is a
guys,
good,
hey, what's
this is a
up
good
with
review.
these guys?
Spectacular creative synergy on display. That's a review. Sure.
Verily,
Yeah, okay.
this comic is
Oh, I
fantastic.
hate that review. It's
Say that again.
And
Nice
the
job,
one on the
Benjamin.
first issue is just says, "I'm gonna be honest with you. I love this book." Okay. We're very honest. Fair enough.
Cool. Yeah, man.
All right, we're cool.
Man, it's like I'm
It's that
guessing
thumbs up
Comic Con
emoji.
we're gonna get either our first look at Gore or Jane as Thor. One of the two.
Oh, it'll be
Probably
Jane.
Jane,
No, I
yeah.
don't think we'll
I
see.
believe
Gore.
we can do both.
I think
Yeah,
we'll
I
see
hope so.
Gore in like hints in the
Cool.
trailer, and then won't see him fully until the movie.
Oh,
They're
you see
gonna
like
show him
a
off in the
you'll see like
Yeah.
the cave and a
'Cause he's-
silhouette of him at the end being like it's time for the Jedi to end.
And, yeah, and then the movie sucks.
Someone randomly DM'd me today, "Do I like Last Jedi?" And I was like, "Is this Tyler's burner account?"
It's like, who gives a fuck? That movie's like 4 to 5 years old. Who cares? It's done. All right, what do you rate it?
10.
Are we,
It's my
is there
favorite
anything
Thor
to
comic.
say? Is there anything more to say?
I think it's
Uh,
a 10.
10.
Did you
if
say
you've
it's your
read
favorite
this-
comic?
I say it's my favorite Thor comic, but I do
Ah.
recommend continuing Aaron's run. Although this is the peak, it's still a good run the whole time. I feel.
Yeah, the Malekith stuff is fine. I mean, it pays off 7 years later or whatever, but
Malekith.
Yeah.
I say Malekith.
I say Malekith. Yeah.
what I mean, whatever.
Okay, I'm like, have I been pronouncing it wrong forever?
See, if Hunter had said that, we would be like, "You're an idiot." But Tyler's like, "I don't give a fuck."
I'm like, I've never heard anyone pronounce it like that.
Malekith, whatever. But I think that stuff is fine. It pays off 7 years later in War of the Realms. Like
7 years.
7 years.
It's definitely
Jane
one of those trade books.
the Jane Foster era is good. Like
It is good.
it is not the complaints a lot of people had, some of them are valid, like the fact that a lot of the other characters are like considerably depowered just so like Jane can look cool, but she as a character is great, and that whole era is really cool. The mythology is great. Jason Aaron is very good at writing Thor. Like that is just bottom line. He's very good at writing.
That's his
Thor.
character.
That's my review on the cover.
So
Jason Aaron is very good at writing Thor.
I personally, I would say these guys killed it. So
These
Hunter's-
guys knocked it out of the park.
Wait, so Hunter 10. Okay,
I'll give it a 10 as well, like genuinely.
There's no flaws.
JD.
I don't have any
I'm
flaws either.
either a 9 or a 9.5. I genuinely enjoyed myself reading this, and I thought like that was such a cool concept. Even knowing the concept going in, I'm like, that was cool.
Mm.
And I remember thinking like, who can even do this with
Flash.
other than Thor? But I don't know if you want to. I feel like this was it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Flash is the only character that I could see doing like the past and future version of yourself.
Mhm.
But I was actually thinking like the hunting down the gods. It made me think of Green Lantern, like going and finding gods that are dead, like going and finding Green Lanterns that are dead. Like no one's protecting the sector. Like that could be an interesting story. I
Oh,
think.
that'd
That is
be
cool.
And
yeah.
again, that's a very horror-y kind of.
And you
Yeah.
can do regular Hal and like Parallax Hal and then old Hal maybe.
Oh, that's cool. I like
Mark
that.
Waid did a story in his Avengers where it was like every era of the Avengers unites to fight Kang through time. And I thought that was awesome.
that's
It's like
cool.
they send a group that's like 70s Thor and modern Spider-Man and like Hercules, like
weird.
3 different points in time. It's really cool.
Oh, that's
So I
cool.
like
It's a
time
strange
travel
thing.
stories with a mix. Time travel stories are like scary to every comic reader, but the good ones are so cool.
I
Yeah,
think
you know
you
what I
could
mean?
literally fight off any complaint about time travel by saying like having the character say time travel's stupid or I hate time travel.
No, exactly.
I
Gotta
actually-
Because
I
when
actually-
Thor said I hate time travel, I was like, I don't give a shit about any of the rules.
Time
exactly.
travel stories for me are like my bread and butter, like especially in comic. I love that shit. Like
No, I do
fucking
too, but like a
Wally
bad
being
one is
flung
just
into,
so
like,
stupid.
Yeah, that's fair. But like Wally being flung into the future and like running back through every century, JD, while John
And
Fox.
you
is
also
in the
don't want
modern-
it to be a crutch as well. Like you don't want a crutch
Yeah.
to be time travel because then
Wait,
then the
you're
question
saying you don't
comes,
like
know.
that Flash story or you do?
No, I fucking love it.
Oh, I was about to
So
say,
good.
I'm on that right now and it's fucking gold.
It's
But
You know what's a
fucking
great
awesome.
Flash
Mark
story that has
Waid
time
is just the
travel?
master of the craft.
What's a great Flash story that has time
points.
travel? Fuck off. Yeah, that's a bad example. Fair point. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
But yes,
You want to read some of the DMs and stuff that we got on
Oh,
Ghost Story?
yeah.
Crap, I forgot about that. Harper, did you read
language,
it?
bro. He's cursing up a
Did
storm.
did I look
Yeah,
at the
dude, Hunter, watch the
did I look at
language.
the did I
There
look
was
at
at least
the-
like 4 DMs and a request, and
I
people
did
replied
not
to
ch-
this. People
I
put the
just saw
story
that they were
sticker.
there. I didn't actually read them.
I'll read them here.
Okay.
So just going to the request. Oh my God, we got novels. Okay,
Oh no. We got novels over
we
here.
got a lot of people sending a lot of paragraphs.
Read it in your Thor voice.
it's my sake.
Okay, well, I guess I'll read this one. Thor God of Thunder and God Bomb thoughts.
All right, already stop. I already hate
Jason
Yeah.
Aaron's Thor run is what got me interested in the 616 Thor in the first place. Fucking me. Prior to reading this run, I was never really a fan of Thor outside of the small moments here and there in other books, but these 2 volumes really made me interested in Thor's character. I think the best part about the series is that it's a great starting point for new readers because it introduces Thor without requiring the reader to know too much about his previous history, mythology, and other manages to keep old readers and new readers captivated. The 3 Thors was a plot point I really enjoyed because it allowed readers to see the character's progression of Thor as a whole, young and brash to responsible and heroic to bitter and vengeful, while also giving each Thor their own respective arc in the end. I also really like Gore's backstory, and the commentary on religion could have turned into something messy, but Aaron did a great job keeping it simple and compelling. Definitely one of the best modern Thor stories and a great introduction to new readers. Love the podcast. Keep up the great work, guys. That's from Chris.Espinet.
I totally agree
Great
with
review.
like
Yeah, that was like the review.
It gives like a great commentary on religion without like poking
Yeah,
any
what the
sides
fuck
of
are
it.
we doing? Why isn't he on the show?
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah.
Get that guy.
But he's totally right because like it could be very hard to talk about sensitive subjects in comics because you typically end up leaning one way, just human nature. You end up leaning one way or the other. But this kind of just gives you an interesting like let you think about it, and I really enjoyed that.
var___art says one of the stories that made me a comic book fan. The plot is engaging, the villain is unique, and the art is absolutely gorgeous. There is a reason it's now a linchpin of Marvel Cosmic.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, like the fact that like there's a reason that this is so well remembered as like an all-time great cosmic Marvel story.
Is this the equivalent of like Court of Owls because it's like the impact that it had? Like,
Oh,
I
well,
would
actually,
say
and they're
so.
very similar too. 2 stories. The first arc's like an issue longer than the second, and it's all part of-
it's the first arc of a new writer on
also
their
like, at the
character
same
that ends up
time.
going on
and
the
they
long haul
change
run.
everything. Yes, exactly.
Like I feel like the good comparison to this would be Court of Owls, right?
Yeah, I think
Definitely.
that's very true.
_Azray1 asks a question saying, epic villain, but I found the timeline confusing. Was the Gore they battle in the end, present, or future?
Future, I think. They
Yeah,
go into the future at the end of
Yeah.
time,
I was under the impression that it
and
was
the
future.
bomb. Yeah, it's what's his name's timeline, King Thor's timeline.
Yeah.
Nick.Heaster3 says, would be better if the Joker 2019 was in it.
Fuck off. Fuck off. God damn you.
The
become a running joke
comics
now.
dot frontier says, like the comic, but more of a question of how you think it'll be adapted. We kind of
we
said
discussed that. Yeah.
Comic underscore germ says gore, and then a little every other villain. So gore
Greater than.
Yeah.
Dude,
Even though the way
I almost said like pizza slay.
Wow. What are you, a fucking Ninja Turtle?
Hey, your
That's
Zoom name
gross.
right now is JD God of Pizza.
That is true.
I was forced to change it.
Thank you for telling us that, Gore's dead wife.
That's my Zoom name. Trade Up Hash says it sucked balls. It's worse than Armor Wars.
Oh, it's a joke.
Way to kill two birds with one stone. Jeez.
Jeez, Trey.
I was with him until the end.
Lennon Pad says, I think it's awesome, but I'm worried that Love and Thunder will make it too jokey.
Well, the comic was
we have the same concerns, but
yeah,
cautiously optimistic.
It's not like Love and Thunder. Thunder is going to erase fucking this.
Gavin Allerton says an all-time classic Thor story. Trey Talks Comics says, I was very disappointed by it. Could have been better. I didn't like the story, to be honest. It was too slow and nothing really happened till the end.
Oh.
I
thought he was
cannot
going to
agree with
say.
that.
I thought he was going to say, like, at the end, would have been better if the Joker 2019 was in it. Like it was.
No, this is
just
like
keep
legitimately
going.
you didn't like it.
Wow,
There you
I'm,
go.
I'm surprised. I mean,
we all have
to call the
opinions.
story
I didn't
slow,
know that people didn't like this. I've never heard of
call
a
the
person
story
not
slow
like
is definitly an interesting take because I feel like
Yeah.
it's very the opposite of slow. Even the first
Definitely an
issue like
interesting
goes
take.
taken off.
Like, respect your opinion, but you're the first.
Respectfully disagree.
yeah, I've never heard them.
I didn't want to say you're wrong, but
You know who loves this comic? Andrew. So
who?
Oh,
That's
Hunter
the
probably
approval.
won't.
Don't worry, he's
Hunter
about
probably
as
won't
nice
respond to
as
him
you.
anyway. So
yeah.
Oh, geez, sorry. I'm bad at DMs. Jacob underscore BW17 says, last read when I was 13 and I couldn't understand it due to the timeline stuff. Sure, I would like it now.
reread it, Jacob. Reread
Yes,
it.
reread it.
And the last one is Avegnin Art. Avenging
Don't know
Avegnin
who
Art.
that is.
I'm not
No
familiar.
idea.
Is that a small account?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best
Seems
part
like
of
a
Aaron's
worthless
work.
little account.
The best part of Aaron's work with Odinson, which is obvious, but I felt the needed to say it anyways.
Yeah, and it's not that like a lot of his Odinson stuff is bad. Like Unworthy Thor is very good. It's just that it never
I've read
gets
that
better.
too. I've read
Yeah.
Unworthy Thor.
He's in Unworthy Thor. I mean, Gore is mentioned obviously, but
Yeah.
it never gets better is the thing. It gets worse. It never gets better.
Yeah. And that's our
Wait. Go back through the ratings because you didn't even fucking ask me. So Hunter,
yes.
Harper,
What
what's
do
your
you-
rating?
what's my rating?
Mhm.
I didn't read it.
No, you did.
Swear on Iron Man 128 9.6 CGC, I did not read this book.
Are you serious?
But you
I'm not
talked
kidding.
about it.
This is not a bit. I wanted to see if I could last the whole show. Hunter, I swear on a hero story, I have not read it.
But you,
So
you
when you
mentioned-
said that you got chills, you were fucking lying.
I was fucking lying. It was all a lie.
But you talked about like this scene here.
I skimmed the first issue.
Well, did we convince you to read it?
No, I'll read it.
That was
Red Patrol. Here we go.
I got you though.
What else was a lie, Harper? When you said I was the
All
love
of
of
it.
your life, was
Although
that a
I did,
fucking lie?
I did legitimately get chills when Hunter was reading that thing about the two hammers. I was like, oh, that's cool. I wish I'd read it.
What the hell? You broke the rule of book club.
Yeah.
No,
Now I feel as a punishment that we can't possibly choose Armor Wars next month.
That's okay. I wasn't going to read that anyway.
Doth thou you?
I am this offended. Little offended. Little offended.
I did it for the content though, for the final twist of book club.
Yeah, we're gonna get DMs that are like, "Oh my god, what a twist!"
What a twist.
Dude, I've been
believe
this
it.
presence.
What
I
an
found out
era
that Darth
of
Vader
book
was Luke's
club.
father.
People got chills from when Harper said that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks.
Let there be
You're
some-
no longer
Sounds
worthy
good
of,
though.
You're not
Sounds like
worthy
a
of
good
picking
book.
up that hammer, Harper. You've lost your worthiness.
Yeah, I don't know how you're
Yeah.
just drops. Well, great Thor comic. JD, do you
Really
think
good
you'll
Thor
continue with Thor?
of that run, or like of
Yeah.
Thor as a character?
Well, both. I guess.
I think as a character, yes, because I actually I've read a handful of JMS issues. I actually like
Tyler's
JMS
face
as a
is
writer.
so
I think he's a
disappointed.
pretty good writer. So
He looks so upset.
I'd like to read that, and I've heard great things about the Donny Cates run that's currently going on.
Oh my
so
god.
I wouldn't mind checking that out.
Yes, it is close to as good as this.
Do
Kate's
you
run.
concur with this, Tyler? I don't see it concurring.
Tyler doesn't agree. He doesn't like it, but like the villain so far,
I'm not a big fan.
Donald Blake is a villain, and Galactus. Those are the two villains he's done so far.
I prefer the JMS stuff. I think J. Michael.
Have you read the JMS stuff, Hunter?
No.
I
Dude,
thought you were meant
JMS
to ask
is
Tyler.
pretty
Like Tyler's like my favorite. I actually prefer them. You're like, have you read
Have
it?
you even read it?
Okay, fuck off.
It's very good, and it's post Civil War. It's very good. It's got Olivia Coipel on art, which is just it's amazing.
I definitely won't. I will be reading it eventually,
Yeah,
but
read it.
yeah.
I think you would love it. You read Siege, right?
Yeah, I did. And Siege
is the end
like
to that.
top
Yeah,
5 events.
Siege is the end to that era of Thor.
Yeah, it's such a good event. And yeah, thanks for listening. And next month we will be doing Armor Wars, maybe.
It would be.
we're gonna do Armor Wars 2, just so we're fucking lost.
But I was gonna say the
Secret
only
Wars
way
tie-in.
the only way you top that is if all 3 of you don't read Armor
I was about to say
Wars.
that.
Just me.
Didn't Tyler already read it?
Yeah, I already read.
All right,
Tyler, you're gonna have to
unlearn it.
lobotomize yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, maybe Armor Wars for July. So we hopefully it'll be their first week of July. We'll have that.
I don't want
video.
to read.
Thanks
that.
for reading with us.
Yeah, thanks for reading, guys.
Thanks for reading. What?